Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Data Partnership. So today I am going to talk about carbon taxes versus carbon market, right? So in my previous video about carbon, I did this carbon pricing. So quickly I will go through it. Means we talked about why carbon pricing, what is carbon pricing and type of carbon pricing, carbon tax versus emission trading system, and how carbon pricing works and why carbon pricing matters, carbon pricing in India, and why focus so much on CO2 greenhouse gases. We talked about what does CO2 has a real cost mean, and why don't polluter pay this cost, and what is market failure, right? So and how carbon pricing fixes market failure right now. So we talked about these things and how to calculate that what is carbon tax and carbon market, right? And we also compared these things. Uh, so and why what carbon pricing looks like for consumers. So I will you please go through this again. I will share the link in the description box. So today I'm talking about carbon taxes versus carbon market, the two ways to put a price on uh, carbon. Which one works better for climate action? Because a lot of talks about this, you can see every time if you go to LinkedIn or newspaper or everywhere, everyone is talking about carbon. So why compare carbon tax and carbon market? Because the both aim to reduce CO2 emission, both put a price on carbon, but they work in different ways. Like policymaker must choose one or a mix because it all depends on the situations and circumstances. So same goal, different tools. So right, this image I have taken from Guardians, right? And similarly, what is carbon tax? So government set a fixed price per ton of CO2. In my previous slide also, a previous video, I talked about that. So there is something 1500 rupees or $10 or whatever uh, for per ton of CO2. Companies pay based on the emission, how much they emit. Accordingly, they have to pay as per the fixed rate, right? And simple and predictable. And we know that, right? To like rupees 1500 per ton of CO2 or something like if you in dollar $10 or $8 $9 like that. So if you emit carbon, you pay tax just like fuel tax or GST, or more emission equal to more taxes. So how this worked, same thing as we have discussed in my last video. So what is carbon market? So carbon market is it's a like share market. It's a trading system, right? So government set a total emission cap. There is a cap. So issue carbon allowances. One allowance is equal to 1 ton of CO2. So companies buy and sell allowances, right? So it based on the demand, the prices go up and down. So higher emission are limited first. The market then decide the price of carbon. There is a cap. Then based on that, based on the demand, it will go up and down, and companies buy and sell. So how carbon market works? So company allowed 800 tons CO2. Actual emission is, if suppose 100,000 tons, then need to buy 200 allowances. So high emissions means higher cost. If it is higher, then you have to high cost will be higher. If a company can reduce emission cheaply, it sell allowances. If not, it buy them. Then they have to buy. So this reward efficient companies, right? So this is the thing, and the key difference is carbon tax have fixed price and there is cap, changes its emissions, and there is carbon prices, cost certainty high, and this is variable because it's like a marketing. So emissions share market like, so emission certainty is low and carbon market is high. So carbon tax gives price certainty. So carbon market give emission certainty. So this is the difference between these two. So real world example, if we take carbon tax, Canada, Sweden, they give the carbon tax in the carbon market like European Union and China. right? So there is bottom line is that there is no single best system. Countries choose based on their economic, politics, and institutions. And which one is better then? Carbon tax is very simple. You know that this is the cost and easy to administer, stable price. But carbon market guaranteed emission reduction, encourage innovations, market driven. So many countries use both. So this is not carbon tax versus carbon market. It is about what works best in a given context. So what is the key takeaway is the carbon tax. You pay this much of every ton of CO2. This is the carbon tax. Carbon market, you cannot emit more than this limit. Otherwise, you have to pay the allowances, right? So both make pollution costly. Both push economies towards clean energy. So what that's it for today. So what will be the topic in future is that carbon pricing in India, business and climate risk, and future of carbon market and net zero. That's it. Thank you.